My name is Mehak. I was the most beautiful girl in the whole neighborhood. My morals were also very good. I had played in this neighborhood since childhood. Everyone loved me very much. The atmosphere in our house was also very good. My brother also got married of his choice. My mother also got married of her choice. Therefore, there was no stifling atmosphere in our house. I was very cheerful and was living very happily in my house. I had many friends in my neighborhood with whom I used to come and go in the neighborhood. One day, my friend was standing at the general store and was buying goods. I was wearing red clothes and red bangles. Everyone was telling me that you look very beautiful today. I don't know how many hearts you will set on fire. I liked hearing my praise very much. We were taking out things and placing them on the counter in front of the shopkeeper. We didn't have that much money, but there were so many nice and delicious things in the shop that I wanted to take them all. We were standing in our meditation when an old man entered there, who must have been 50 or so years older. He also took out things and started placing them right next to our things. We were seeing that he was placing very delicious chocolates, juices and such food and drink items. Seeing his things, our mouths were watering. Then I thought that Babaji looks so old. Doesn't he have sugar to buy such sweet things? We were both talking and laughing to each other until Babaji piled up the things, and when the shopkeeper told him that it was 5,000 rupees. When they left, Babaji happily took out the money and gave it to the shopkeeper. Then, standing there, this old man did something that left my friend and I speechless. He mixed all the things with our things and said, "I bought all this for you guys." We looked at him in surprise and said, "Why did you buy so many things for us?" He said, "You are a girl from our neighborhood, can't we buy something for you? Mashallah, you both look so cute today. I just thought I would buy something for you guys." We knew this old man. He often sat in the neighborhood. I had seen him greeting my father a couple of times. He had come out of compassion and bought things for us. Now, we shouldn't break his heart by refusing. We said thank you and put all the things in the shop. That day, we were so happy as if we had won a lottery. We ate all the things and took them back home to feed our family members. I had a sister, she was also very cute like me. I fed her something and she was also surprised that where did so much money come from. Then when I told her the whole story, she also started laughing. In the evening, I heard my mother telling my father that now it is time to get Mehak married and we have invited some people yesterday evening who are coming to see Mehak. Hearing this, tears started to burst in my heart. I was very eager to get married. I understood marriage only as something that there would be delicious food, all the guests would come, I would get many gifts, lovely clothes would be made for me, everyone would serve me and treat me like I was a princess. Sit here and don't do any work. The next day, we cleaned our house and my mother told me to get ready well. The people who would see the marriage would come in the evening. Among the people who would see the marriage were the boy's father and the boy's maternal uncle, not the boy's mother. I was also happy that let's go, I would be saved from the trouble of breathing, and my mother was also happy because my mother had also tolerated her mother-in-law for many years. When I was called out, I was surprised to see that it was the same old man who had bought things for us yesterday. But when my mother brought me out, my father scolded my mother in front of everyone and said, "Don't bring him now, take him inside." My mother said, "You said it yourself, bring him out in 10 minutes. My father said, "I said it earlier, now tell him to go inside and you come here and sit down and talk something important." My mother left me back in the room and said, "I don't know what happened to your father. He is getting angry. He himself had asked me to bring him out." I asked my mother, "What's the matter? Is there any problem?" My mother said, "What could be the problem? You sit here. When I have to call you, I will come and call you." My mother went back to these people and sat down. I listened to what they were saying. I was curious. Knowing this, the ground gave out from under my feet that Babaji had come to see his relationship for himself, and he even told my father this. Just look at his courage. That's when he was being so kind to me that day and was bringing me food and drinks. I thought Babaji was doing all this thinking of me as his daughter, but he was dreaming of making me his wife. Those people were very rich, it was obvious from their looks and clothes, and while standing there, they had returned 5,000 to me. Maybe that's why Baba didn't throw them out of the house and they were still talking peacefully. After a while, those people suddenly laughed so loudly that I was surprised what was going on. Sometimes they get angry, sometimes they laugh. What's going on? I stood a little further ahead. This Babaji said, "I was just joking. I have come to see a relationship for my son." By the way, no one makes such jokes when they go to someone's house. But when adults get old, their intelligence becomes like that of small children. Then I was called. I greeted everyone. They said, "We like your daughter very much. Our only condition is that the marriage should take place within a month." They said that you don't need to make any dowry, you can make a list of everything your daughter wants, we will buy it for your daughter-in-law. You write in the list AC, furniture, AC, TV, fridge, oven, we will make everything, we will even make the gold and we will make the clothes for the 3 days of the wedding, not only for the bride but also for you. My father said that this is your good intention, but we also have to give something to our daughter. If you make everything, then what will we give? They said that you are giving your daughter, what is less? My father was very impressed with this relationship and said that it will be as he wants. It was not easy to get married in a month, but my father said that this relationship should not get out of hand. He showed me a picture of a boy whose name was Hamid. The boy was also handsome and had a good job. The house was big and people were making everything themselves. If someone were to blindly agree to such a relationship, we would also do the same. What, and they were not investigated at all. I got married and moved in with my in-laws. The house was very big. When I saw my room, I was surprised. They had really bought all the things and the two from a very good place. I had so many clothes that I couldn't count them. I was in my room, waiting for Hamid in my heart. Everything was good, but now I was thinking that my husband would also turn out to be a good person who would respect me and love me. When my husband came into the room, he was lost somewhere. I faked a cough to attract him. He smiled and turned to me and said, "Come with me. I have something to show you." I started thinking in my heart that the gift of showing off was so big that he couldn't come into the room, so he was taking me out. My husband held my hand. We both had smiles on our faces. He brought me into a room. The room was decorated very simply. It had a bed, a wardrobe, and a chair to sit on, which old people sit on and swing all day long. My husband said, "You sit here for 10 minutes. I'll come right away." I said, "Okay." At first, I kept walking around and then sat on the bed. My husband said, 10 minutes. But after an hour, I couldn't even go out. What would they think of the guests in the house? I was a newlywed and was wandering around like this. My phone was also left in my room. I would have sent my husband a message or made a call to ask where you were. Are left. My father-in-law entered the room and was surprised to see me and asked, "What are you doing here?" I understood that this must be his room. I said that Hamid had told me to sit here for 10 minutes. "I will be right there." My father-in-law said that if Hamid had said that, then sit down. He must have come. My father-in-law closed the door in conversation and I did not notice this. My father-in-law came near me and sat down. Seeing me, he smiled and started praising me. He said that you look very beautiful. I also smiled and replied. While I felt a bit strange praising him like this, he had started to build bridges of praise for me. Sometimes he would praise my eyes, sometimes my hands, sometimes my hair and sometimes my lips. I started to feel something strange. So I said that I am going to my room. Hamid will come right there. But the ground gave way from under my feet when I felt that my father-in-law had held my hand and stopped me from leaving. I looked at him in surprise and she tried to free her hand. I asked, "What are you doing?" They said, "You are my bride. She left you here herself. So are you so innocent? You still haven't understood this. After all, why would any husband leave his wife in his father's room on the first night of marriage?" The ground gave way from under my feet. I denied their statement that it was not like that at all. They laughed and said, "I know my son. That's right. I came to ask you for myself." But when I said this, your parents were shocked. Then, while sitting there, an idea came to my mind. Why don't I get you married to my son? Because I was supposed to bring you to my house and you came to my house. In fact, you are standing in my room right now. I started calling out to Hamid. I started screaming. I wanted to get out of there, but he had already locked the door and asked who I was calling out to, who had left you by himself. My life was ruined. The more I envied my fate, the worse it turned out to be. My husband had cheated on me and handed me over to his father. They all cheated on me together. They had made fools of me by showing my parents our house and wealth. What should I do? I would tell my family everything. But I had just gotten married. It had not even been 24 hours. There were guests in my house and everyone was jealous of my fate. If they had known that this was the truth and that this had happened to me, my parents would have died while they were alive. I was ruined, but I didn't want to take away their happiness. I told my father-in-law that my family shouldn't know about this. He said, if you listen to me, you will start envying your fate again. I will make you very happy and your parents will also know the truth. I will take care of your parents too. I hated this person. I hated him just because of his appearance. I started feeling disgusted with the man who had married his son's wife and then tried to make her his wife. This series continued like this. I was dying every day, questioning my existence every day. Why did I come to this world? What dreams had I had? But all dreams had been shattered. Both of them had made me a spectacle. The surprising thing was that my husband was very satisfied. I would return to my room in the morning. My husband was not home. Whenever I came and went, he would talk to me as if I were his wife. He would talk to me in a very normal way, asking me what was for dinner and how to iron my suit. I was surprised that this man was so satisfied with handing over his wife to his father. How did I hide my tears and emotions from my family? I know only you. One day, I was alone at home. My husband was not home at that time when I received a call from my mother. My mother was speaking in a very low voice. She said that I have something important to tell you but no one can hear me. I said that it is okay. I will go to my room. You can talk calmly. She told me something that surprised me. She said that your younger sister had gone to the nursery and has not returned yet. I looked at the clock and it was 7 in the evening. I said that Baba comes home at this time. Didn't he ask about it? My mother said that she had asked twice but I made an excuse that I had sent him to get something from the neighborhood. My mother said that my heart is beating fast. I don't know where the girl has gone. Her phone is also switched off. I must be worried. My mother said that it has been 7 to 8 hours since she left. I am also very worried. I said to my mother that why did you tell me after so long, what should I do? I can't leave the house and even if I did, where would she go? How would I look for her? My blood pressure was already rising. My mother said that she has come. Saying this, she hung up the call and after that she was not picking up the call. Then after half an hour, my mother picked up my call. I showered her with questions. Where had she gone? Where did she come from? You asked. My mother told me that she had gone to her friend's house from her father's house and was sitting there for a long time. I also breathed a sigh of relief because we knew that our younger sister was not like that, but still we were worried. I told my mother to talk to me and I will explain, but my mother said no. If she finds out what we were thinking about her, then she will be very sad. It's okay, she has come home. I have told her to never do that and to always keep your phone on whenever you go out of the house. I already had a lot of problems in my life and I couldn't bear any more tension. I thanked God that my sister was completely fine. At some point in the night, my eyes opened and I left my room and started walking around the house. When I heard a commotion coming from my husband's room, I thought that he must have either gone to sleep or was busy on his phone after taking me out of my room. But there were sounds coming from his room as if he was not alone there, but there was no one else living in the house. Then who could be in his room? I tried to listen with my ear, and as if the person inside became cautious, the sounds stopped coming from inside. Anyway, he was my husband and this was my room. I could go to my room, so as soon as I put my hand on the handle to go in, the room was locked from the inside. Someone had locked it from the inside. I stood there for a while and then suddenly someone opened the lock. I entered the room and my husband was sitting in front and was busy on the phone. I said that the door to this room was closed just now. He said that I was changing my clothes, so I locked it. I looked around and there was no one in the room. My husband was also noticing me, but I could smell some woman's perfume from this room. I understood that something was wrong. I told my husband that when you can hand over your wife to your father, then why are you afraid of me? You can go around with whoever you want from me. I don't care. Your father is better than you. At least he does what he does in public. He is not like you. I told my husband so many things, but he didn't take any of my words into consideration. I hated my husband's appearance, what kind of person he was, so I went back. My life was going on like this day and night. After 2 or 3 days, I thought I was going to leave my house. My father-in-law threatened me, "Be careful, if you tell anyone, I will divorce you. I will also make your parents unable to raise their heads. Remember, you have a younger sister in your house, and if anyone finds out that your elder sister is in such a situation, then there will be no relationship for your younger sister." I was also patient so that my sister's life would not be affected because of me. Because I had not even been married for a month, if I had returned after a month, it would have been very disgraceful. People never understand why I got divorced or what happened to me. People say that he did not build a house for her, he did not build his own house, and this is wrong. Time says that the fault is always the woman's. When I came home, I put a smile on my face. After a while, I sat next to my mother and helped her prepare the food. After a while, I sat next to my father and then left. Then I went to my sister's room. I talked to my sister for a long time and then she left the room for a while. She said that I would make tea and bring it. I said okay. I stood in front of her dressing table and I was seeing that she had bought a lot of new and expensive things. I thought of asking her how she had bought so many things. Women have a habit of checking out a makeup product by putting it on because putting it on shows how it is. I saw a beautiful bottle of perfume, so I picked it up and started checking it. I found that smell familiar. I felt like I had smelled that smell somewhere before. Human psychology is that emotions and memories are associated with a scent. Then when she smells that scent again, she remembers that she had smelled that scent. She said that she had smelled mine. Something similar was happening with me. I felt like I had smelled this fragrance. My sister came back and I told her that I really like your perfume. She said that if you like it, then take it. I said no, I don't want to take it. But she put that perfume in my purse. She said that you have been sharing your things with me all your life. Can't I give you one of your own perfumes? I came back with that perfume and sat in my room and put my head on the pillow when suddenly I smelled the same fragrance. The fragrance of my sister's perfume was coming from my room. From the room where my husband lived, my heart suddenly stopped. Connections started forming in my mind. My sister looked very happy. She was singing songs as if she was married. My mother said that she doesn't do any work these days. She has made a friend. She sits in her house for 4 hours and one day she even disappeared. Then the same perfume that I smelled in my husband's room was my sister's favorite perfume. The one he gave me smelled exactly the same. I had also felt someone's presence in my husband's room. Was it my sister? My heart started beating fast. I made a plan that I would check at night to see if anyone was in the room or not. I kept thinking all day that this couldn't be happening. It shouldn't be happening. It must be my imagination. I must have misunderstood something. But when night fell, I got up in the middle of the night and came out of the room. I saw that the light in the room was on and there was also the sound of someone talking from inside. Because I was going to come to this room tonight, I had already got the key of the room in my hand. I opened the door of the room very carefully and entered with a jerk. Seeing the scene in front of me, I trembled. My sister was with my husband. She was also scared like me when she saw me. My husband also bowed his head today. I started crying and screaming. I also called my father-in-law and asked what was happening. Neither my sister was saying anything nor was my husband answering. My father-in-law said, "You don't know what's happening. This is all part of the same plan. Hamid liked your sister, but your family wasn't going to get you married until they got you married. I liked you. So we made a plan that you got married to Hamid, but you would be my bride. After that, Hamid would marry your sister. But he didn't get married because you are still married to him. So he can't marry your sister. We were just waiting for him to divorce you on some pretext and then after that, they could get married." I was devastated today after hearing that my sister was also involved against me. They were both strangers. They were slaves to their own desires. What else could I expect from them? But my own sister, my younger sister, was also involved with these people. Didn't she see that those who are treating one of her sisters like this will do the same to her tomorrow? I thought to myself that I would not remain silent for a minute now, but if I told them this, they would even take my life to stop me, so I said, "Okay, whatever you want, it will be." And while crying, I just told my sister that I didn't expect you to do whatever you wanted. Somehow, I managed to handle the matter, but a storm had arisen inside me, and it was not going anywhere. For a week, I acted as if nothing had happened. After all, I don't know what to do now. When will I come to my senses? Life had played such big games with me that I had come to my senses. A week later, I went to my mother's house under the pretext of not knowing what to do and told my parents everything. All this was a big shock for them too. I didn't want to upset them, but the lives of their 2 daughters were at stake, so I had to do something. I also told my father that I shouldn't lose my temper, but rather resolve this matter in a polite manner. My father invited Hamid to his house as an invitation and his father too, and then presented the entire matter to them. My father also invited his brother and some of my cousins. It became like a jirga. Both father and son were badly humiliated. My cousin and uncle started threatening to kill me, saying that you ruined the lives of 2 girls in our family. The police were also called. The matter got very bad. On my father's request, I filed a case under Section 420 against him. Hamid divorced me and the police will arrest both of them. My father and mother beat my sister a lot. I also did not save her. My father thought that now they will see a relationship for her and send her away, and after that our life and death with her will end. My sister was married off. Her husband took her to a foreign country with him. Now I live with my mother and serve her. My parents explained to me that not all men in the world are the same. I should give myself another chance, but my heart does not agree. For now, I am happy with my parents.